Minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu pakhaira gale ni hao chunashume washmale. Oh hi, gozaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Halashumachatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, balli kare aaya. Hoş geldin and I say khuyamora chi batto chi hal jod kali mera khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into Pakistan TV and are watching world this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be Shehzad Khan, and with me I'm really lucky that I've been joined by once again my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha. Hello Eesha. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I feel absolutely fantastic, absolutely great, and it's wonderful to be back on set, back on the show, not just because of the wonderful energy that I'm accompanied by every day, but because, I miss being well informed about what is happening across the globe, right?
Yeah.
I could recall a lot of things on my fingertips regarding global
but
politics.
But not right now. Right. We aren't going over there. But certainly you've shown a lot of passion and dedication towards your work. You just got married, alhamdulillah, a week ago. You're back over here at work. Do you think that, that you do believe that things have changed now? Or is it pretty much the same?
All right, I feel like everything up till now has been absolutely fantastic. It has felt like a fever dream. So I feel like it's a little hard to process that is this reality, is this not? But I think I'm living a good life.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful, Eesha, and we're glad that you've made your way back as well. And because your in-laws will be watching today, so I'm going to allow you to take the lead. So please go ahead and continue. Let's get started.
Exactly. Talking about the wonderful stories we all love to share with you. Let's talk about some interesting highlights that we will be discussing. Some stories I have, some stories Syed has had, Shehzad will speak about, and let's get off with our first highlight, which is absolutely interesting. Prime Minister Shehbaz has paid a 2-day official visit to Azerbaijan at the special invitation of President Ilham Aliyev. The visit coincided of Azerbaijan's Victory Day celebrations, marking 5 years since its historic win in the 44-day Karabakh Liberation War against America. Prime Minister Shehbaz, along with Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Asim Munir and Information Minister Atala Tarar, attended the ceremony in Baku. During his meeting with the President, both sides agreed to strengthen cooperation in trade, investment, energy and defense, as well as education. And it's wonderful to see how the strength and bond of these two countries is increasing and becoming strongfold.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful. And in addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, we will be kind of talking about the peace talks that have been taking place in Turkey in between the Afghan Taliban regime and the Pakistani government officials, because the Pakistan Foreign Office has outlined the country's stance on the recent Istanbul talks with Afghanistan. According to diplomatic sources, Pakistan's position is based on truth and merit, free from any bias. The sources said that Foreign Office presented facts regarding Pakistan's relations with Afghanistan in the recent past, aiming to remove misconceptions and put the record straight, where we did speak about how they are developing a mechanism to make sure that there's no cross-border terrorism. We will build up on that too. In addition to this, I'm just going to move on towards the next highlight, and it's because of the fact that imagine more than 1,550 flights, ladies and gentlemen, were called off. It's just because of the fact that the United States of America is actually witnessing the longest ever government shutdown. So more than 1,530 flights were cancelled in the United States, while thousands more were delayed on Saturday after authorities ordered airports to reduce air traffic because of the ongoing government shutdown. We'll speak about it. We will be joined by somebody from Washington, D.C. to kind of let us know what's happening.
Exactly. It sounds absolutely devastating. It has been 40 days since flights have been disrupted, and this has been the biggest disruption since COVID-19, and we're excited to actually understand why this happened and how this will unfold and affect the air traffic.
We should really be excited because it's more than 750 federal civilian people, who have actually lost their jobs.
We're concerned to know more about it. And speaking about what is developing across the globe, today the world celebrates World Science Day for Peace and Development. It is led by UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. The day highlights how science connects to everyday life, how it can build peace, progress and sustainability across the globe. This year's theme is Trust, Transformation and Tomorrow, the science we need for 2050. The focus is on the kind of science humanity will need to face future challenges such as health crisis, climate change and technology ethics that we are all delving in the world of artificial intelligence.
Exactly, and when there is peace, ladies and gentlemen, certainly we will see a lot of people budding, may it be businesses, may it be the sporting fields, and I will never miss out a chance to Open Sport, where we will be talking about cricket because in the recent one-day international series which took place in Faisalabad, the Iqbal Stadium, Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, have emerged victorious within the series. This is the seventh home series that Pakistan have won out of 8 series that they have played. I think that the one series they lost was against New Zealand. And to be very honest, looks like that I would want to kind of congratulate the PCB, Pakistan Cricket Board, Pakistan government, may it be Shaheen Shah Afridi, and all of those players who've contributed to the best of their capacity and ability. We will be building up on that as Sri Lanka is set to visit Pakistan, and tomorrow I do believe will be the first one-day international in between Pakistan and Sri Lanka in Rawalpindi. We'll build up on that. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after a short break. This is your chance to run to the kitchen, grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you like, and come back quickly because we will be back.
Welcome back to all the lovely people who stay tuned, and we hope you went and grabbed a quick snack for this special
I think this
segment.
must be difficult, man. I mean, only if your kitchen is right over here where you were sitting, you know, it would have been possible. But all right, yeah. I think he's back and she's back as well with their cup of coffee. That's wonderful. Let's get started.
That's perfect to know, and let's get started with our wonderful segment, and that is regarding how the Honorable Prime Minister went to Baku on the official invitation of President Ilham Aliyev. Joining us to discuss how this visit unfolded, how it is going to help Pakistan in development, economic and growth. Joining us is Ambassador Shahid Kiani. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Honored to be on your show.
All right, it's absolutely wonderful to have you. Good morning to you, and please unfold for us, please enlighten us about how this historic visit was for Baku. Why is this an important day for Azerbaijan, and how is Pakistan's participation in this event very symbolic?
The importance lies in the Azerbaijan president inviting only two leaders from the region. That is the Turkish president and our prime minister. And this was to commemorate the fifth, there's a fifth year in which the Azerbaijan had won the war against, if you can consider it, against Armenia, because this was a part which was, if you go to the background, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, a lot of problems of borders have crept up. This was one of them, but this had a little background that majority of this region of the Nagorno-Karabakh had Armenians. But this is nothing new. In any part of the world, if you go, you'll find people of different descent living in that country, but that doesn't mean that the other country should start attacking and taking away. But what happened is that Pakistan continued to support the Azerbaijan uh, against the Armenians. And this is one of the things which had touched the hearts of the people of Azerbaijan. And if you look at when we had this conflict in post-Pahalgam, the government and the people of Azerbaijan supported Pakistan against India. So we never forgot that. And so it was something, a touching moment where the Azerbaijan government invited the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the President of Turkey to come and celebrate the fifth year of the winning of the war of Nagorno-Karabakh, in which that Sasha is one of the small parts of that area in which they won the war. So they were celebrating, and they could not have better guests than the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the President of Turkey, who had stood with the people and the government of Azerbaijan during this difficult period.
Exactly. And sir, another significance of this victory parade which the Honorable Prime Minister was attending,
Yeah.
he was joined by the Field Marshal Chief of Army Staff, Asim Masin Munir
Yes,
Sahib as well.
yes.
You know, how do you see this strategically? How do you see this, where Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is witnessing such an ascent diplomatically? We do see that the civil and military leadership continues to be on the same page, bringing a lot of prosperity and sustainability, not just within the region, but within the country too.
The Chief of Army Staff was there, and this is something very significant. And there was a contingent of the Pakistan Army in the parade. So this was a, I would call it a very important symbolic gesture from Pakistan to the people and government of Azerbaijan, which our soldiers were part and parcel of the ce- celebration. So this is very important, and the army chief was there, the prime minister was there, and you have been seeing it in the last now maybe 2 years. The political and military leadership on the same page as far as Pakistan internal and external relations are concerned. So this is symbolic and very important, and an important message both within the country and abroad, that we are that the leaderships are on the same page. So it's important. And once again, I would say to you, I would say another landmark in the foreign policy of Pakistan, and a message to in the region, that Pakistan, as people have been saying in the last, this was a misperception that we have been isolated, but no, not the least, we are here, and Pakistan's relations, I would say, in the last maybe 2 years, this government of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has reached out more to the Central Asian Republic than in previous years. So this is very important, and we are looking at, once, it is a message also to Afghanistan, that once Afghanistan stabilizes, I hope sanity prevails within the leadership of Afghanistan. The Central Asian Republic will be connected with Afghanistan and with other countries of the world, and there will be more business and people to people contact once this happens. So let's hope sanity prevails. And then the other important thing with Azerbaijan is that Azerbaijan is member of the ECO, common membership, and of the OIC. So these are something very important. But again, I would say that Azerbaijan gave this importance to only two countries in the region, Turkey and Pakistan, who have stood with them during the difficult period.
Exactly. And Kiani Sahab, in addition to this, certainly, previously, if we kind of look at the kind of relationship that Pakistan have enjoyed with Azerbaijan, it was trade worth tens of millions of dollars. But I would
Yeah.
want to kind of bring to our nation's attention where how Pakistan-Azerbaijan preferential trade agreement took place, and it is set to be
Yeah.
implemented in 2025. Then there's Pakistan-Azerbaijan transit trade agreement, multiple MOUs, and not just that.
Absolutely.
And now, the dialogue is to make sure that the exports or the imports or the bilateral trade actually kind of reaches a benchmark of $2 billion. How do you think Azerbaijan and Pakistan needs to work towards that in making sure that strategically, economically, that Pakistan and Azerbaijan are more viable to each other?
Let's try to understand the importance of any agreement or MOUs are once they are implemented. And for that, both the governments have to work together. They have to make deadlines that, yes, from this part to this part. Let's hope, because transit trade can only work in a manner in which the countries in between, which is Afghanistan at the moment, is stabilizes. And let's hope, I would pray that sanity again, I would say, prevails in Afghanistan, within, especially in its leadership. I'm quite surprised. People in Afghanistan want this the instability to end, this uncertainty to end, and the transit trade can only work when the countries in between are in a peaceful manner. So let's hope. And this is very important. If you recall, the the Shanghai Agreement, and during that period, the SCO summit, these countries were there. So let's hope that
Exactly. And
we are
Kiani Sahab,
able to.
and Kiani Sahab, certainly thank you so much, for sharing your thoughts about the Honorable Prime Minister's visit to Azerbaijan on the president. And in addition to this, sir, I will come back to this and circle back to this. But imagine that, for us as Pakistanis, me and Eesha over here, all those Pakistanis,
Watching.
may them be living in Pakistan or outside Pakistan, whenever I'm in conversation with them, the diplomatic ascent that Pakistan has seen in recent times is something which is unprecedented. Maybe from the United States of America to China to Middle East to Turkey to Jordan to Poland to Azerbaijan,
We don't have enough
Pakistan,
fingers to
alhamdulillah,
count.
is doing a wonderful job, and it's because of the civil and military leadership being on the same page. And alhamdulillah, in days to come, we will certainly see, because where you spoke about Afghanistan, how they are trying to kind of disrupt peace over here within the region. Alhamdulillah, the military leadership, ladies and gentlemen, will always be ready, with the steady resolve that we will never ever allow anyone to tarnish our territorial integrity and sovereignty, which is why I think it is of utmost importance that we speak about it. But on the other side, so there's a bit of transition, Eesha, that we have been playing these days, because you weren't around. So ladies and gentlemen, just to kind of change the topic, Kiani Saab is right alongside us as well. Let's go, let's move on towards that. All right, so first things first, as we did mention in the highlights, ladies and gentlemen, that Pakistan has called on the Afghan Taliban regime to take concrete and the verifiable action against terrorist groups operating from Afghan soil as the third round of talks concluded in Istanbul. And when we speak about the third round of talks, it is for to be established a mechanism needs to be established with which the cross-border terrorism can actually be dealt with, or the menace of cross-border terrorism. On this occasion, the Federal Defense Minister, Mr. Khwaja Asif, actually had to say something which is really very serious, and the Afghan Taliban regime really needs to hear it out loud so that they know what Pakistan actually wants from them. And if they are going to be a proxy for India, well, that's something certainly which Pakistan will then deal with, or the Pakistani military deal with. Let's go, let's take a listen.
हमने पूरी खलूस के साथ जो है सिंसेरिटी के साथ ये अटेम्प्ट किया है कि अफ़गानिस्तान और पाकिस्तान जो है दोनों अमन में रह सकें अच्छी हमसायों की तरह। लेकिन अगर वो अपनी बागडोर जो है अपनी लगाम जो है उन्होंने दिल्ली के हवाले कर दी हुई है तो फिर तो ज़रा मुश्किल हुआ कि इसमें जो कन्फ्रंटेशन जो है उसका रास्ता उन्होंने जो अपनाया है फिर इस तरह तो फिर इसी तरह से हमने
Kiani Saab, who happens to be an ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, is still with us, and he would know, because it's a very loud and clear statement by Mr. Khwaja Asif Saab as well. So I would want to kind of ask Kiani Saab, I'll rope you in once again, and you've have had the experience of all sorts of diplomacy under your belt. What do you make of it, sir? Because this third round was dedicated towards establishing a mechanism with which we could curb the menace of cross-border terrorism. But on this occasion, the defense minister himself says that, that we, in all honesty and loyalty, went over there. We wanted to sit down. But if they want themselves to be operated by Delhi, then we will have to deal with them the way that the Pakistani army will finally decide. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I am, believe it or not, surprised, rather astonished that the Taliban, the interim government, would like to live in war, in the scenario of war all their lives. Can you give me one example in this modern age where the people would support a government, whatever is imposed on them, to continue to be at odds with its neighbors? I'll just give you one example. In Vietnam, when I was there an ambassador, that country was in war for 40 years. Then finally decided in 1975 that enough is enough. And then the war ended. They disarmed their own people and told them to live in peace. Now you look at Vietnam, one of the thriving countries in business-wise and tourism. Afghanistan has a great history. Let me be honest. And they have been in war since 1979 till today. Now, what do the Taliban people want? This interim government, are they living in some stone ages? Let sanity prevail. We gave them three chances. Three rounds took place where we sat down together and said, okay, let us observe peace, and there should be peace on the borders. It's very important. Borders are sacrosanct, and let us allow people to move in and out. Yes, on the border, and do not allow the sanctity of the borders to be violated. What is there is some very difficult mathematics or difficult science they don't understand. Third round took place, and it was reflected in the honorable the Minister of Defense interview, which I just heard. Very important, he says, what do they want? We cannot allow this discussion to take place as something very important. This was uh, negotiated, or there was Qatar and Turkey. Can do these Taliban have weak memories? We were the bridge between United States and Pakistan in Qatar when they signed the agreement with the United States, and the withdrawal took place, or the American withdrawal took place. Now we are on the same on the same thing. We are telling them Nothing very difficult. We just said the borders are sacrosanct and allow the borders to be peaceful borders, peaceful coexistence, exist peacefully with us. And they went, we will have verbal agreement. They said, what do you mean by verbal? Have they read the Holy Quran? The Quran says whenever you have agreement, there should be two witnesses, and they were. So you have to have, in this age, between two countries, there has to be a written agreement. Nothing very difficult. Saying that, yes, you live in peace on that side and we live on peace on this side. Will have allowed the people of Afghanistan to have people to people contact. Businesses should thrive. This is what it is. The borders are sacrosanct. What do they want? And if I talk about border, let me just tell you, in 1923, somewhere, the then king of Afghanistan, the Rahman, wrote a letter to Lord Dufferin, the viceroy of India at that time, saying that they want the borders to be, a demarcation of borders, because at that time Russia was expanding its territory. So it was him who wrote to Lord Dufferin at that time that borders, that we should have a demarcated borders. What is so difficult mathematics and or difficult science in that? So
Exactly, certainly,
borders
sir.
are sacrosanct.
Certainly, sir, and certainly, speaking about it, I do think that I would want to kind of bring in the context of how Zabiullah Mujahid, the Afghan Taliban spokesperson, did try to twist the plot as well. But sir, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your key insights on the issue. And in addition to this, I'm just going to take Eesha, our audiences, back in time, where how the first rounds of talk, when they took
Peace
place,
talks.
the Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting took to the platform X and tweeted that that there was no conclusive decision
There was.
of the talks which have taken place, then which actually took place in Qatar, and then the second round took place in Turkey, then the third round where a mechanism was supposed to be devised for to stop the cross-border terrorism, and Afghan Taliban, Pakistan have been, or the Pakistani government have been given them message repeatedly that we
Exactly.
do not want your soil to be used by Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna al-Hindustan. And that's certainly
Rightfully
what
said.
Pakistan wants. Pakistan, civil
Wants
leadership,
peace.
military leadership has taken a strong stance in making sure that we are not going to now allow any sort of terrorism on our soil. And that's exactly why we have had a lot of martyrs who've sacrificed their life for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of our nation. The nation stands united, alhamdulillah, and we back our armed forces, we back our civil leadership, and we will make sure that we thrive with a lot of peace and prosperity. With that, we're heading out towards a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, let's speak about why flights aren't taking off in
Exactly.
the United States of America.
We are curious to know.
Good morning.
Welcome back to all the lovely people who stayed tuned, and me and Shehzad were very curious to know, and the whole world is watching and curious to know about why the US government has been shut down since October 1st. It has been 40 days since the government has been unoperational. Flights have been disrupted, and this has been the longest shutdown in US history. To speak more about this, federal employees, including air traffic controllers, security officers, and administrative staff, are working tirelessly without pay. Some have left, some are joining new companies. It's absolutely devastating to see this disruption causing economic, political, as well as business turmoil as well. To speak more about this, to help us understand why this is happening, we actually have Mr. Khurram Shehzad, who happens to be a political analyst, who will discuss how this fallout is going to impact the US economy. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will get started with our questions right away. First things first, what we want our audiences to understand: what is a government shutdown exactly, and what do you think, how will this unfold for the US?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me this morning show. The government shutdown, the both parties, when they prepare for the budget for the next year, they come up with their own plan to satisfy their campaign. The Democrat and Republican Party, they both are running the campaigns, and the based on the campaign, they promise to their constituents, what kind of facilities they will bring to their constituency. Both parties try to build a bill which is based on those promises, and they try to execute it, giving the political edge to their party. So this is the background of it. The next year budgeting, next year funding, next year accrual of those funding, and the getting those funding to different departments within those budget categories. So when the bill is presented, there's a debate happens. The both parties try to cut some of the things, modify some of the things, take some of the things from the other party, and then accommodate their own things in negotiation part of it. Every year happens. Both parties sit together. They fight day and night to get their things into the bill to satisfy the mandate of their parties into that bill for every year, because it's education, it's healthcare, it's defense budget, it's domestic affairs, it's transportation, you name anything. Every piece of budget is debated, every line item is debated in the Senate and Congress. Based on that, the next year we get the funding and everybody gets paid, and all the funding to the projects get into the execution. So this is what happened. It has been happening. This year is the new history in American politics. This is the longest government shutdown in the American history that we are witnessing today. It is more than 40 days, and we see the federal employees are not getting paid. The discretionary program, the mandatory program, the optional program, the cybersecurity program, you name any program, it is shut down. We see the 40% delayed on the airport, some of the airports, because there's no employee, because the federal government is shut down and we cannot pay the furlough. Furlough is the term used when the employee is coming, but they're not getting paid, because they will get paid when the government have the funding. So in this perspective, 60 votes are required. To get the 60 votes, Republican Party needs at least nine votes from the Democrat side to get it 60. So this is the problem. It's a serious problem. And the Democrats know that we need to get our demands into the bill, which is President Trump say, I don't care, I'm not going to do it. This is not going to happen. So this is where we are standing today. And this is what we see the longest historical shutdown in American history. One thing I wanted to mention, the most impacted people are the federal employees. Federal employees, especially the people who are getting very basic pay, very normal pay. It's enough to run their chores or get the food on the table.
Exactly. And Mr. Khurram, since you've joined us all the way from Washington, D.C., approximately 730,000 civilian federal employees are in the same position due to the shutdown, which entered its 40th day on Sunday yesterday, according to data from the Washington, D.C.-based Bipartisan Policy Center. Now, in addition to this, with more than 1,500 flights grounded, weren't able to take off, the day-to-day life of the American people looks like as if it's been disrupted. Not just that a lot of people are just losing their jobs. And where I mentioned the number of 730,000, 50,000 civilian federal employees, another 650,000 people will unfortunately might not be turning up to their jobs as well, or probably might not even have a job. How do you see this? What do you make of it for this longest ever period of a shutdown within the United States of America? How the President Donald Trump have already spoken about cutting out on USAID, all of these things that you've mentioned. What do you make of it?
I was traveling over the weekend from Atlanta to Washington, D.C., and Atlanta airport is one of the biggest airport in America. And it was like a big parking lot. Everywhere you see the long line, and the lines were coming out of the airport. I never seen in my lifetime in America that the lines were out of the airport. The security lines were out of the airport to get through the security. It was chaotic. People were standing all over the place. And this has been the case all over the place. It's not only the airports, it's trains, it's metro station, it's the healthcare places. The people are waiting for their certifications. It's the courthouses, all those places. You go to the government assisted program building, you go there, people are standing 30-minute, somebody had a video of it. It had a 30-minute walk to the end of the line. It was a walk all around the 6 blocks to get to the place where they can get the food assistance from the government. It is huge impact on the government. I mean, you go to any government institution because there's no employee. If employees are not getting paid, they will not show up to the work because they already told that you're not get paid to get to the work. So that's why if there were 15, 20 employees, no, there is one employee standing. And that one employee can serve up to how many people? 20 people. The same go to the airport. All the flights are delayed. All the trains are delayed. All the public services are delayed. In one of my certifications that is delayed, I'm waiting for like a month, more than a month now, to get the response back from the state of Virginia. So this is huge impact on almost every department of the government. Only one department is safe, which is the defense. There's no budget cut on defense. There's no debate on defense.
Yeah.
There's no, what needs to go home and who's going to stay in the Pentagon. There's no debate on that. Only that department is secure. The rest of every government department is in crisis, and it will remain in crisis until the government opens up again.
Exactly, and thank you so much, Mr. Khurram, for being with us. Thank you so much for sharing your key insights as well. And certainly, sitting down over here in Pakistan looks like as if the leadership of the President Donald Trump is taking or the administration of the President Donald Trump is taking all of these decisions for the betterment of the American people. And I hope that, that the American people are able to understand that. But Eesha, over here, I think obviously we have another transition. First, let's move on towards the transition, and then I will speak about what I wanted to say. Ladies and gentlemen, something really interesting coming on the other side of this transition. Let's go.
Stay tuned.
So imagine, Eesha, what I wanted to say was that imagine that, millions of people as of now can just pick up their remote, and see us on their television screens. What is this? This is science, right?
Exactly.
We can be seen on television, we can be seen on mobile phones, we can be live streamed and whatnot. What is this? This is science,
maybe
right?
we can have our own holograms one day.
And our producer, if she wishes to shout, she can still shout in our ear. What is that? That's science,
Innovation, right? Innovation at its finest. And speaking about this innovation, what we really are excited to talk about is that today the world is celebrating World Science Day. It is led by UNESCO, United Nations Educational and Scientific Cultural Organization, and this day highlights today's theme, which is trust, transformation, and tomorrow the science we need for 2050. And this sparks a lot of curiosity, not just for me, but for all the people watching, because all the way back when we were kids, we would imagine that all the way up to 2025 to 2050, we would have flying cars. But now you think that, oh, maybe flying cars are going to consume a lot of energy and fuel.
We do still have flying cars, but we cannot afford them.
It's going to disrupt the environment. So moving on to more viable solutions, betterment solutions, and climate resilient solutions, right? So to speak more about this, we actually have an interesting guest in our studio today. He happens to be Dr. Syed Wilayat Husain, who is the professor of the Department of Materials Science and Engineering at the Institution of Space and Technology. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you for providing this opportunity to talk to the people about science and how it can be used for the betterment of the people.
Let's go, sir, then. Why wait for a little longer? Let's go.
Take us away with this theme.
See, we have to understand that our planet is a very special thing. God has given us oxygen, water, and resources. And we are told that you have to live here.
Yeah.
So it has to be sustainable. The only thing we are getting from the universe is sun energy, and we have to live with it. So we have to do things sustainable. We have to go for biodegradability. We have to go for things we get from bio-inspired materials. So these are the directions we are working on that.
Definitely. And I loved how you highlighted that the earth itself is very precious. I recently read an article which said that we think that diamonds are the most precious element on earth, right? But when you think about the whole universe, diamonds are found in abundance in every planet. They fall, they're available in space. But on earth, the rarest element is wood, because wood is found nowhere else in the entire universe. And in speaking about this topic, right? So today marks a very special day. How do you think science can bridge the gap between technology and between the betterment of humanity?
See, one thing we have to realize that people have some misconceptions about science. It is for destruction. Basically, science starts with the invention, and that is used for defense, and then it comes to public. We have seen it in nuclear energy. We have seen it in space science. We have seen in many other things where things were developed for the defense and they were used for the public. So first we have to remove the misconceptions, and we have to increase the trust so that science inventions are used for the betterment rather than for some bad things.
Exactly. And sir, where you speak of it, I think, we will still have to blame science as well. Now imagine that we go back in time, the first ever engine was a diesel engine, with a lot of emissions, not just that. We speak about medical science, which keeps on changing almost every year. But what now happens is that for all of those practices that we've indulged in, it's literally so hard to pick yourself up and then move on or adopt to a newer technology. How do you think science can be helpful over there? And how do you think that science can be blamed for it?
See, science is doing things for the people.
Yep.
We usually think that these are the discoveries, but these discoveries are for the people. We have to use them. We have to think about medical sciences, they are helping people. We have to think about environmental sciences, they are helping our environment.
True.
We have to think about the material science. We are talking about advanced materials. They are helping people. Let me give you one example only. We talk about implants in our body.
Yep.
And now we are talking about implants which will dissolve in our body with time. We don't have to do second surgery to remove them. So these are biodegradable materials.
Yep.
So we are talking about synthetic skins. You see burn people, it is very difficult to survive if you have a high degree of burn.
And very painful.
And then you have to develop a skin, and most of the time that skin is not sensitive. So now we are talking about sensitive skins. We started with biocompatibility, now we are talking about bioactivity.
Oh my God.
So we will be generating skins which have nerves, which can sense.
Oh my God.
But sir, we have to make science affordable for people then, to adopt to these practices.
That's right. Let me give you one example.
Sure.
We have been using stents and catheters, and now we are making them in Pakistan. NUST is doing very good work. And the thing which was coming for millions of rupees, now you will get in thousands of rupees. So this is the work.
Yep.
We are doing a very good work in biomedical engineering, very good work in Pakistan.
That sounds absolutely exciting to know. And as the professor of the Institute of Space and Technology, what are some exciting and innovative projects that your students have worked upon, what you have worked upon? Please share with us.
See, one interesting thing, we have a group working on biomaterials, and we are getting funding from UK and Germany.
Wow.
They are very interested in utilization of local herbs for the implants. You can have coatings on your implants which will help in growth and which will dissolve after their use. So that work is very exciting. And ComSets in Lahore, they are doing work on wound healing, quick healing, and then skin patches. Again, these things will be changing our life.
Yep. And certainly, not just life, but the lifespan itself as well. And, that's exactly the direction that humanity is moving on towards. And all of these facilities really need to be available for people. So obviously, after the rightful testing, this will happen. But sir, very quickly, the theme this year is trust, transformation, and tomorrow. Now, imagine that just yesterday, while I was preparing for this segment, I did come across how people in space are actually eating space-grown lettuce. So do you think that there will be days, inshallah, for Pakistan where we will be kind of colonizing on moon or speaking about going to the Mars? Are we working on these technologies?
See, one thing you should know that we have advanced in nuclear engineering, and we have advanced in space engineering. And these two are the special technologies. When you work in these technologies, you have to work in so many technologies like material science, vacuum technology, and control automation, everything. So we have good manpower.
Yep.
We are working on that, and we have a space program to send our people in moon. And we are
getting enough human resource for that too, where people are willing to move to moon.
But that is the best way of learning.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of programs in our university for people to come and see how space can help us, how we can get so many things from this space.
And that's exactly, sir, what I would want to ask now. Imagine that, when me, or rather Eesha was growing up, the kind of interest that we've had in science has always been phenomenal, but it has always been difficult for us to learn it.
Very limited.
How do you think science can be made easier for people to learn?
One thing I would
Sure.
like to convey through
Sure.
this media, our youth. See, we have very strong youth force in Pakistan. And in the COVID period, they started talking about the online money making.
Yep.
And that has distracted our youth from basic sciences. And that is a big problem. If you don't study mathematics, physics, chemistry and biology, these are the basic sciences,
True.
you cannot progress.
True.
So this is very important to bring our youth to that. And one good thing, we, in our universities we have very good research programs, and especially people who have come after getting their education from other universities, they have very good collaborations.
True.
And the gap is how to transfer that information to the industry. And there's a lot of work government is doing, Higher Education Commission is doing, Pakistan Engineering Council is doing to encourage startups and going into the industry.
Exactly, and that is of utmost importance as well, where it bridges the gap and there are more people coming in. One last question, sir. How do you think artificial intelligence will have its impact on science, and how will it make it easier for us to learn?
I can give you example from my field,
Sure.
material science.
Yep.
See, artificial intelligence is basically collecting all the information you have from your previous experiences and then making use of that information for decision making. In material science, our experiments are long. If we want to develop new materials, there's a whole sequence. Here we can get good help from the artificial intelligence. Those things, I can design materials using artificial intelligence. I can skip many steps of making, characterizing. I will get that information. And that is the direction I can go. That will be a
What a wonderful message, what a brilliant message for all the people to hear about. And what I loved is that you highlighted how children need to learn sciences, the basics, chemistry, physics, mathematics, to learn the essential of our bodies, the elements around us, and not just be indulged in money making, right? And that was a wonderful message. We hope that the upcoming youth is enrolling in science programs and learning material management and material elements. Thank you so much for being here and giving
Thank you
such
so
a
much,
positive
Dr. It was
message.
such an amazing day to actually be in conversation with you. Please keep on sitting. Thank you so much for being with us. And meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually talking about sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, certainly sports happens to be a science as well, and I will never leave a chance to kind of not speak about sports or cricket or football or any other sport which is actually taking place. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about how Pakistan actually emerged victorious in the One Day International Series, in the T20 International Series, and it was a 1-1 draw in the Test Series against South Africa. And while we speak about South Africa and Pakistan over here, now the best part is that Pakistan, out of the 8 one-day international series which have taken place in Pakistan, Pakistan have won 7. I would want to kind of congratulate Mr. Shahid over here for his first comprehensive series win in the one-day internationals as a skipper. Joining us, ladies and gentlemen, is Syed Haider, happens to be a sports analyst, one of our favorites. Hello Haider, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you feeling?
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you, sir, inviting your show. Yeah, it's a good decision by Pakistan that to get the captaincy for the Shahzad Afridi, and they have won the first ever test one-day series against South Africa. So I think it's a good sign for the Pakistan team that they are on the path of the victory and they are getting one by one the victories. But important thing is that how the Pakistan, their new talent, what they are doing, because it is a time of thinking for the Pakistan team. The new talent is very important, how they are working and how they're performing. If you are playing still with Fakhar Zaman and other players, they are just on the border line. They are going to for retirement. And now, if the new talent, like we have seen that Hassan Abbas and other players, they were not informed that they could perform against the South Africa. This is important. Otherwise, the team was doing very well. The captaincy, the bowlers, the batters, they have done very well, and they have got the victory against South Africa. And as you have said, that out of 7 series, Pakistan have won. So it's a good thanks to the players that they have provided a moment to Pakistan nation that they can have pride on Pakistan cricket team. They are doing well, but some parts we have to work really. We have to think about for the future.
Exactly. Thank you so much for highlighting how talented the Pakistani players are. And speaking of talent, what has been on our mind since last night is Syed Ayub's performance. He scored 77 runs of 70 balls. Do you think we could actually utilize him in the World Cup as an opener?
You know, because Eesha does not watch a lot of cricket, Simon has been our opener. Even in the previous tournaments as well, Eesha, which is why now I'm going to actually kind of build up on how Sri Lanka is now visiting Pakistan, and they held our 2-hour training session just yesterday under the captaincy of Charita Salanka. Now, Haider bhai, what I would want to kind of ask you is that our strategy against South Africa was really different. Imagine that it was Abrar rising to the occasion, then it was Salman Ali Agha pitching in, there was Saim Ayub, you know, getting us those wickets. But with Sri Lanka, it will be really difficult for us to kind of rely just on the spin. I think, do you think that we will really need to change our mindset over here and probably have a balance or a mix of pace and spin to deal with Sri Lanka in Rawalpindi?
Absolutely. Sri Lanka is not same like South Africa, because South Africa did not have good spinners, but Sri Lanka, they have Hasranga and other spinners. They are available for the Sri Lanka. So it would be another strategy against Sri Lanka in this upcoming series from tomorrow. What Pakistan will do, I think Pakistan will go with the mixture of the mix fast bowler and spinners, and I think Pakistan will think about it to get the batting pitches, because the batting of the Pakistan is better than Sri Lanka. I would say that they have good some good batters like Kushal Mendis, Aslanka, and others, but still the Pakistan is batting on the better position than Sri Lanka. So I think Pakistan will go for the batting because the spinners wicket like they have got against the South Africa, it will not work against Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka, they have good spinners and they will make problems for the Pakistani batters. So it will be a good series for the Pakistan that Pakistan will get against Sri Lanka, but I think they will they can get also victory against Sri Lanka.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful. And just very quickly, one last question. That is that Pakistan actually clinches the title of Hong Kong International Sixes tournament, which was going on. Looked like as if Pakistan has been doing phenomenally well. I think most of the titles have been clinched by Pakistan. But what was different was that people usually, or you know, any country who's actually participating in that, what they do is that they usually rely on their retired players, the people who are close to retirement, who they send to the Hong Kong International Sixes tournament. But what we did differently was that we sent a team full of youngsters. How do you, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's a sixer tournament of Hong Kong. It's just an entertainment. I think the PCB should not go so hard that they have sent Abbas, Afridi, Khwaja, Nafi, and the youngcomers. Pakistan did not need. Pakistan could go also with the retired players or someone they are not in the Pakistan cricket team right now. They could play there, but to send a new talent, young players against the retired players like Dinesh Khatak and other players, they were playing for India or South Africa players. They were not. They are not in the national team or any other domestic cricket they are playing. So therefore, I think Pakistan should not go like that. And definitely, a tournament is tournament, and even we are winning, we are collecting the trophies. But I think Pakistan should not with the young talent. They should, Abbas or the others, they should play Qaidas and trophy and domestic cricket. That is necessary for our.
Mr. Syed, Haider, I'm really sorry, but since we are very short on time today, you know, I'll make sure that, you know, in days to come we build up. Thank you so much, Mr. Syed Haider, for always taking our time. Thank you so much for your wonderful key insights as well. And Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, will have to change their strategy in terms of how they will come across Sri Lanka over here in Rawalpindi for the 3 one-day internationals, because even Sri Lanka is spin heavy.
Ooh, that was a very good wrap-up, Shehzad, and we hope to keep winning more matches and giving defeat to all the opponents that we face off in cricket especially. And with that, we are going to wrap up this show on a very positive note. Thank you so much for joining us, and catch us live tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Good morning. We are world this morning. Bye. Look after you.